Businesses are still on a digital transformation journey. We think digital technology is everywhere, and it is, but there are still a lot of businesses that haven't really fully digitized yet. And obviously, technology is evolving all the time. So even if people have already digitized some of their business processes, they're thinking about how they can improve that, what new technology they can bring in. And often, there's still this move away from using on-premises file servers and databases and so on into the cloud. And it's economically viable for them to do that because they don't have to buy and invest in their own infrastructure and have the people to manage it and run it. They can simply go onto the website of Salesforce.com or Microsoft Office 365 and subscribe to some services. And of course, their assumption is that that's going to be secure, isn't it? But it's not. I've certainly seen a lot of companies that have just gone out and bought the latest piece of software because they've had the budget available to think it's going to do something for them. A very typical example is an ERP system, which, if you're a logistics company or a manufacturer, an ERP system is typically a good idea, but they are incredibly expensive and incredibly complex things to implement and get to work right. And a lot of companies have fallen foul of that because they don't realize at the beginning, they've not really taken the time to analyze what they actually want to achieve in their business. What are the tools and technology that are going to actually help them achieve objectives 1, 2, 3, rather than just buying in a piece of technology and think, well, that'll do, we'll figure out how to make it work, because it never does. And of course that asks all kind of questions about how secure that's going to be. Where the data is going to be held, how secure is the data, who's going to be able to access the data. Sometimes all of these issues aren't considered right at the beginning of the process. This idea that security is kind of we'll have to think about that at some point, because the pressures on the business is to get the technology in and get it working and get the return on investment of it. So what we're saying in this piece that we've written here is just some kind of guide as to some of the important steps that you really need to consider as a whole business, not just as like a technology or a security team, but really starting out with a premise of what does this business need to achieve? What are the problems and pain points that this particular application or tool set could potentially fix? But then we need to figure out how it's going to integrate with the existing landscape of technology that we have. We need to figure out who's going to need access to it. Is it going to be interacting with some applications that are somewhere else in the cloud? And how does that work? Are there some vulnerabilities and considerations there to make? So it's this kind of methodical analysis of all the potential areas where we might come unstuck from a security point of view. But the starting premise is this going to be good for the business? Are we going to get the ROI from it? And then how do we make sure that that's implemented in a secure way?